What is an obscure TV show or movie from your childhood that no one else seems to remember? It's a simple question for many people, and a way to share nostalgia between communities. For me, it's a trigger word. A trigger to a gun loaded with trauma and nightmares. Anytime I mention it, I spiral down the rabbit hole that is Rocky the Brave Raccoon. I first stumbled upon what seemed like an innocent Muppet ripoff when I was 10. My parents had begun to leave me home alone, and I had been channel surfing as we do back in the early 2000s. I found myself on channel 74, but instead of the usual static and station title and number, it was music and a picture fighting against the static. It was the sound of a theme song, similar to the late 90s Goosebumps theme, fighting against the ear-shattering static. As the music grew louder, fighting the static, the picture began to emerge. On the screen fading in was a raccoon puppet wearing a detective uniform, equipped with a satchel and flashlight. It reminded me of the Muppets at first, until the theme music faded and the episode title popped up onto the screen. Then it felt more like a Scooby-Doo episode. Rocky and the Case of the Puppet Master. A title flashed in yellow against the dark forest background, and Rocky was alone, flashlight in hand, walking through the forest. After a few steps, Rocky began to hum a tune I didn't recognize, seemingly unfazed by the dark and spooky forest surrounding him. But then the camera panned down as Rocky noticed a thick red liquid leading off the trail. Rocky began to follow the liquid trail, visibly less unfazed. As Rocky followed the liquid trail, the amount began to increase until the liquid trail was a puddle. Above the puddle of dark red liquid was a man, disemboweled, hanging from the tree above by a fishing line or something similar, each limb on a separate line in a shocked pose, as if the corpse was now a gory puppet. Rocky screamed and began to run away, presumably back to the main trail he started on. But after 30 seconds, it was apparent he was lost. Rocky sat in defeat until he heard twigs snap in the bushes near him. The sound caused Rocky to scream again and run through the forest. Not long after he began to run, he noticed car headlights and began running towards them, waving his arms for help. But as he got closer, he realized the car was parked in the middle of the woods. Rocky ran and opened the driver's door and discovered the mutilated and strung up body of a woman. The body was already in early decomposition, and it was posed as if she was still driving the car. Rocky did what he had done several times before, running and screaming deeper into the woods. Again, after a few seconds, Rocky stumbled upon something. This time, it was a creepy and seemingly abandoned cabin. Rocky ran in with no hesitation. As he busted through the front door, the body of another disemboweled man startled him. It was hanging a few feet away from the entrance, posed like it was greeting visitors. Following the same pattern as the previous discoveries, Rocky screamed, then ran out of the front door. But this time, Rocky was blocked by a lengthy, eerily tall man with a mask, similar to how Pinocchio looked in the original movie, covering his face. Rocky screamed, but was interrupted by the lanky man's hand covering his mouth. The screen then cuts to black. No credits, no music, just darkness. Over the next few months, I would go to Channel 74 in hopes of getting to see another episode. As I grew older, I began to wonder what the fuck it actually was. I began to truly dig during the pandemic. I found several newspapers from 1998 to 2001 about the unsolved homicide cases where the victims were mutilated and strung up like puppets in a similar way, but no information about Rocky the Brave Raccoon. Did I somehow see a home movie filmed by a serial killer? If anyone has any information about Rocky the Brave Raccoon, please let me know. The information I have is only making the truth harder to piece together.